And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day in studio helping you as your consumer advocate, making you more of an empowered consumer out there, helping you win in any marketplace, as we say here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. 80 plus categories of consumer advocate content, 50 plus show partners associated with this show, and it's all about a local flair here in Tampa Bay, helping you navigate these uncharted waters, and especially in this case with the trying times that we're seeing here. We've got some remote calls in today from our expert contributors directly from their home offices, and we are in studio to help you win. So save our hotline number, 813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline number, and we would love for you to reach out. Any questions, comments, concerns you may have with the show, bring them to our attention. We're getting an uptick in calls lately, especially, with the latest developments with the coronavirus. So 813-670-7372. And we appreciate all the calls, people reaching out and checking out the website. You can also submit an email form. We get a lot of emails through the website at consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you on our website at consumerqb.com. We want to help you win, of course, in your real estate negotiations, buying, selling, or investing. I know a lot of people now are thinking too, they want to sell their properties, but they want to limit the amount of strangers coming through the property. So we have instant offers available through Keller Offers. We can make you an instant cash offer available, and it's higher than a lot of those other companies that are doing it through Gary Keller, the billionaire owner of Keller Williams Realty. And we can help you with that, of course, as well. And if you want to get full retail, we can, put it on MLS, feature it on the show like we do a lot of our real estate properties. So if you want that, of course, we can do that for you as well. Lots of exposure. And so I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. I've got a hot listing that we just took in, 19206 US 19 in Clearwater. This is a beautiful opportunity. It's just over $1 million property, about a $1.5 million listing here at 19206 US 19 North in Clearwater, currently operating as a car dealership, car lot. And it's a great opportunity here to purchase a commercial place right here in Tampa Bay, and lots of development going on around the Clearwater area. So it's a great opportunity to reach out. We'd love to talk to you about that or any of our other 45 plus listings that we've got here in Tampa Bay. 0 Alternate 19 as well as another property, 516 Alt 19 in Palm Harbor. This is a gorgeous lot. Build your dream building here. If your business is paying lease right now, rent, we have an opportunity for you to build professional office location right here in the heart of Palm Harbor. The sewer and the water connected, so the impact fees have been paid. Also, you've got $40,000 worth of plans that are available for this property at 0 Alternate 19 in Palm Harbor. Check out all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And on the phones today, we've got Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Welcome to the show, Diane.
Hey, Brandon. How you doing? Yes, calling remotely since we're all working from our home office. Our entire company made us all go home a few weeks ago just so to be safe.
That's right. Better be safe than sorry. And we got all the medical folks working around the clock. I spoke to a gentleman last night that was a for sale by owner, and he's a medical resident. He said, he's put in about 100 hours already this week. So,
oh yeah,
lots of people working overtime for us, helping us stay safe. So the best thing for us to do is stay home and stop the spread of the virus as well. We got William Crowley on the phones. William Crowley, the credit magician.
Hey! I've been away for a while, but feels good to be back. Of course, we're on the phone today, but we want to talk a little bit about it. There's going to be a lot of dead time with people, so I tell people, listen, let's pick up some of these consumer laws and start looking at them, because you're probably going to need them once this crisis ends, because I'm sure people are going to have some damage to their credit, and you can legally have this information removed and addressed.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if there's any thing in the pipeline in the pike from since the governments are saying, hey, don't go to work, stay at home, shutting down bars, restaurants, other businesses are affected, schools, of course. Wonder if there's any chances of the lenders, especially the big lenders that hold a lot of mortgages, saying, hey, we're going to give you a 30-day furlough on your bills, instead of paying your bills.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that today. William and I talked about we need to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, that would be interesting. That would be, something that would be, very timely. And we've seen some things happen, especially with the BP oil spill. You had, of course, the, different hurricane disasters, and there is relief available out there. So that might be something that we can address here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So this segment is brought to you by Golf Cart Depot. Golf Cart Depot, longtime friends of the program here. Marty and his team do a great job when it comes to bringing you in, test driving the golf carts available. They've got a huge inventory as well. Easy Go, a Textron company, Star EV, Cushman, and pre-owned or brand new golf carts available from Golf Cart Depot. Check them out. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you, and check them out. They've got 2 locations, Land O'Lakes, right there on the north side of Tampa Bay, also Clearwater as well. And I've got my Keller Williams red, beautiful golf cart out in the community. He's been doing some door knocking, meeting some of our neighbors, hanging some flyers, and enjoy that time as well. So we'd love for you to support our partner, Golf Cart Depot. Let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on a test drive right here in Tampa Bay. All right, so let's go to Diane Vance. Diane, a lot of turmoil in the stock market. We see that all over the different news networks. But, what we need to worry about is our economy in between our own ears and what we can actually control.
Well, I wanted to kind of explain just what the Feds did this last Sunday. When the Federal Reserve cut the interest rate for the Fed funds, that's overnight bank-to-bank lending rate. That helps lower the interest rates for credit cards, home equity loans, auto loans. So, no, you can't get a 0% mortgage. I've had a lot of people call me on that. But it does, in essence, help a little bit, because what they also did was they put money into the mortgage-backed securities. So the federal government actually, so that we wouldn't totally fall apart, because what happens when you get interest rates that are too low, you have those lenders that maybe somebody financed a year ago and then they refinance, and these lenders are holding mortgages. What happens is there's a shortfall that you get a margin call, more or less, and you can also get margin calls on your line of credit. Thank goodness I work for a very strong company with Fairway. They have very, very good reserves and very, very strong. So you're going to see some lenders out there that may have challenges. But it's a good thing what the federal government did. It actually helped us. There's a lot of good things in the market that actually do help us. One thing is that our government is trying to keep the market. There's a big relationship between the stocks and the bonds, and they're trying the best of their ability to keep that relationship where it's normal. It hasn't been normal. But the good thing is there's a lot of equity in people's houses. I think I heard the statistic yesterday that it was, I don't remember the percentage exactly, but it was like 30% of the market has at least 50% equity in their homes. So it's not like, so a lot of people are all concerned it's going to be like the housing boom bubble or whatever. There is no bubble, because we do have equity in the housing market. So people still are able to sell. People are still able to buy other homes. So this all too will, once this situation is over, you may have some people that are, that suffer from maybe not going to work, but I believe the government has actually stepped in even on some of those small businesses to get some of those folks some help as well. So I don't think we've heard everything that they're doing to stimulate this and to help the economy. But it definitely is, they're definitely stepping up to be able to keep things going as normal as they can. Let's face it, we've never had this in our history ever. So we've had some illnesses and things like that, but we've never quite had it like this. So I honestly think that they're doing everything they can to actually help the economy, let's hope it's only a few weeks, and then, it will normalize. They're predicting a very strong housing market after this normalizes because there is so much pent-up demand in people wanting to buy and sell that especially millennials, the age group there, they are all wanting to buy. They're having families and things like that. Interest rates are still very, very good. They aren't as good as they were 3 weeks ago, but they're very, very good. So everything's going to normalize. The market will come back to some normalcy.
That's right.
William and I wanted to talk about, that they are going to allow some servicing of your loans, whether it's the student loans, whether it's credit card, whether it's mortgages, they will allow you to, if you lose your job or if you are out of work for a period of time and you're going to be late. The best thing to do is call them, of course. But I want people to be aware that on a mortgage, because you sign a note that has a definite time frame, they can't add anything to the end of the mortgage. So during the hurricane, a lot of people stopped their mortgage payment because they said, hey, you can actually not make your mortgage payment since you weren't working during the hurricane or something like that. But what happened was when they stopped it for 90 days, but at the end of 90 days, they actually had to make up those mortgage payments. So I want people to be very aware that they want to make sure if they cannot make mortgage payments or they cannot make a credit card payment or anything, just call and make sure what will happen once the payment starts again or once the period of time, if it's a month or whatever. Just make sure you question it. So that's definitely what I wanted to talk about today. So I don't want anybody out there to think that, but we're very busy on purchases. So I think there are still people that are looking at houses. So
absolutely.
Good thing.
That's right. Even in any market, there's going to be some people that are still looking. There, it may shift. There's going to be some people that are kind of holding off and postponing, but there is still earnest buyers, sellers, and investors out there. And we've got Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, on the phones coming back. We're going to talk to William Crowley as well. He's our credit expert, the credit magician, credit restoration expert here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we had some interesting stats too. When you look at a 36.7% absorption rate right here in Pinellas County, so the absorption rate is still great. 2.72 months of supply, a low inventory market still in Tampa Bay. So buying, selling, or investing, we would love to talk to you. And we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because Weaving TV is working over in Tampa with Tanzania Star.
62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember. Ask to me about
Yeah. To be able to help businesses to do that kind of stuff. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards.
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections for help.
On Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
As your you're super connected. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to...
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. Mm-hmm. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, former USF football player, played on the inaugural football team at USF for the South Florida Bulls, kind of carrying that metaphor over into our life and our real estate business as the quarterback. We want to lead your transactions, help you understand more about the market, be your local economist of choice. And we are hiring. My wife and I own a top team here in Tampa Bay, the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And we are hiring multiple positions, sales reps, inside sales, personal assistant, looking for a sales manager as well, and we're growing. We're seeing an uptick in leads, especially with things happening right now. So we'd love to talk to you. Give us a call on the hotline or hit us up on the website, and you can see all of our listings as well on our website. So we got a couple of hot listings I want to let you know about. Got a car wash, got a cash-flowing car wash at 1410 North Betty Lane in Clearwater. This is a cash cow opportunity to own a passive income opportunity. 1410 North Betty Lane in Clearwater. It's a car wash that's been operating for many years, and the cash cow, and it's got lots of upgrades and extras there. The owner tells me it only takes 2 hours a week of actual on-site work time to make this thing operate at full capacity. So it's a car wash available, passive income available. So check it out at PlatinumMVPTeam.com. PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, so we got on the phones, we got Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. More from Diane coming up here soon. We got William Crowley as well. We're going to talk with William now, the credit magician, on the phone. What are you seeing in your world, William?
Hey, well, it's we got trying times, but I always struggle with people to be proactive anyway, to expect ups and downs. We've had ups and downs in this economy for a long time, and this is just, I believe, another one. It's a little bit more devastating, of course, but nevertheless, I think people should, since they have a lot of dead time, take time to look at these consumer laws, because more than likely you're going to be utilizing some of these laws that's going to be, beneficial for you in the near future here, based on the economy right now. And so Diane was saying that they're not going to put these payments at the end of the loan because, contractually they can't do that, if I'm understanding it correctly. But nevertheless, the Fair Credit Reporting Act is there in both, the consumer laws, nevertheless, are there in both the good times and the bad times. And they operate the same way as always. So whether it's a crisis situation or not, which everybody, when they come to me, of course, there's a crisis. But the Fair Credit Reporting Act is really the consumer laws, Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, et cetera. These are consumer laws that have been put in place years ago. I mean, the Fair Credit Reporting Act was one of the first ones created in 1970. These laws are here to protect us But good times and bad times. And since we're in a bad time right now, it's good to familiarize yourself with these, because a lot of times when I'm talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act and these laws, a lot of times people are like amazed or kind of confused or baffled about, does it really say that? Can it really do that? Yes, it can. I mean, these laws have been here and put in place by Congress since the 1970s or late 60s, and they're there to help us to be able to get immediate relief from financial difficulty or financial struggle that we're having in our lives.
Right.
So just make sure that since you do have time now, take a look at some of these laws: the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, etc., and just start preparing, because times probably will get worse before they get better. And the government's doing all it can. We have to be able to support the government and do what we need to do to make sure that this thing comes out in a way that we can really make things work even better than they were in the past.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. You had a question for me, or?
Well, William Crowley's on the line, credit magician, credit expert, talks about improving your credit. And there's, I've heard it said that there's 99.9% of all credit reports have some errors on them. Now, and we've also got Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, on the line. So I wanted to kind of kick it from you two, from a perspective of when you have a consumer that comes in, they want to get a loan. They're looking to get a FHA, conventional, different type. Diane and her team does all types of loans, and if they don't do it in-house, they can refer it to someone, home equity lines, vacant land loans, all types of deals. Now, you two work together specifically in a capacity of when the client comes in and they need to have that rapid rescore done or have their credit improved. Talk to the dynamic of how you work with Diane as well.
Yeah, that's a great question too, because so me and Diane, we've been working together for some time now, and the strategy is this. First of all, Diane's the lender, so she can answer all the questions on the lending. I want people not to get us confused. A lot of times people call me and say, am I ready for the loan, and ask me questions about the loan. I have no idea, and that's not my area of expertise. My area of expertise is to definitely get you ready for the loan. But before you come to me, you go to Diane and Fairway Mortgage, because they've got some strategies that they can use, Wayfinder, I believe, and Rapid Rescore. And if that doesn't work, then you'll be coming to me, and I'll be working using my endeavors, using the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, to overcome a lot of that stuff that the lender, that Diane can't execute with. I think it's Wayfinder, Diane, and Rapid Rescore.
It's called a simulator, is what
simulator.
But we only do that if the credit score is close to where we can actually help somebody. If the credit score is or if they have too much credit, or maybe they haven't reestablished credit, and that's the best thing to do when you have a negative event, is to try and reestablish some good credit, because what happens is the good offsets the bad. And so what I do a lot of times is, so if I see something that I maybe can't help somebody right then, at least they've made the phone call, and I will send them to William, and William will then advise them on how to actually fix their credit. Now, they do have to be involved in that scenario, just like any scenario, but the sooner you call and find out, it's amazing to me that I get these calls and people just, it's kind of like they put their head in the sand sometimes and say, oh my goodness, it's going to go away. Well, if you went 4 years and you've not reestablished new credit, it's old credit. But if you don't have anything newly established, and that's where William comes in and where I come in, is that it may not be today, but it will be when. Most people are able to buy, and it's just what time frame and how long will it take. And Williams is expert at getting the credit corrected, because he's using the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And I'm telling people, okay, if you have a credit card or something after you've had a negative event, you may not be able to. It won't take a month. It's probably going to take a little while. But, and then have that and keep it down to a 30% of whatever the limit is. So if I have a limit of $1,000 and I want to increase my credit, then I'm going to not spend more than $300 on that credit card. So you just want to make it could be a secured credit card. I know a lot of people in the business, like Brandon said, if I can't help them, I will find somebody that can help you. And I have a relationship with somebody that does secured credit cards. So there's always an answer. And then, of course, William helps me out a lot with a lot of my customers. Sometimes it's a little more than I am an expert at.
Right. And so with what, in addition to what Diane's saying, so if she can't navigate them through with her strategies, then, of course, our programs are definitely going to be able to get them over the hump if they just follow what we tell them to do. And what we're doing is everything is transparent. We're teaching the customer how to really do their own credit repair. A lot of times, credit repair companies, they don't divulge all the information, and people think, well, this sounds illegal or immoral. And that's why I try to make sure that people see what we're actually doing, and if they have any questions, here, we're ready to explain why we use this law or why we use this particular verbiage. Right. But the Fair Credit Report, every strategy that we use, they encompass the consumer laws, being the verbiage of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, etc.
All right, we're going to jump into that when we come back, Mr. Crowley. We're going to talk about that, some of the details, down payment assistance programs, and more. Also, Maine landlord is not collecting rent to help tenants unable to work during the COVID-19 outbreak. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
This is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with Danzo Star.
62 who knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62 who knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember anymore.
Ask Anthony about Florida law.
Yes. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay. Welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to...
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back the right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. Mm-hmm. And even as sisters connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, consumer quarterback show and owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate business, buying, selling, or investing. We would love to talk to you and help you with your real estate deals. And we have a need right now as well. We're hiring. So, of course, any realtors that want to join a winning team, number one real estate company in the world. We're a top team at the number one office for the entire Mid-Florida Regional MLS board. The office itself did over $650 million of volume last year, and we were number one for January this year as well. So we're hiring realtors as well, buying, selling, or investing, of course, and sales reps, inside sales, personal assistant, and sales manager. So reach out if you are looking or know someone who is. We would love to talk to you. You can hit us up on the hotline, 813-670-7372. Of course, we've got Diane Vance on the phone as well. So any kind of mortgage advice, mortgage questions you have, you can call 813-670-7372. Of course, William Crowley, the credit magician. We're going to offer his credit package out here as well. So the website is consumerqb.com. Plethora of information on the website, consumerqb.com, and more from Diane Vance and William Crowley here in just a moment. I wanted to mention a property that we've got, Harbor Drive in Clearwater. This is a great opportunity to build a great investment opportunity right here in Tampa Bay. Either you're going to build a single family home or maybe some townhomes on this property. And it's two side-by-side lots with direct access out into the harbor of Clearwater, and right there in beautiful Tampa Bay, beautiful lots available. They're right around $150,000 each. So you could put up to 9 units on this property. So think about that from an investment standpoint. For $150,000, $169,000 side-by-side lots, you're able to put 9 units with bay access, waterfront bay access. So townhomes would be ideal for that property with the smaller lot lines that you have there as well. So check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, they are a first-class organization. Whether you're planning a local or long-distance move, reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Talk to Gary Thacker. He's the owner. And let him know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And let's jump right back into it. So we were going into break. William was still in the middle of a thought. So let's let William finish that thought. But also, Diane, I wanted to talk to you about down payment. I think that's one of the biggest misnomers we have when it comes to down payment. And also there's down payment assistance programs available out there. So, William, back to you, my friend.
Yeah. So, and I try to help people to understand it's not an overnight, thing here. So sometimes it does take time. You could come in and on our first cycle, and the cycle is what I say is once the dispute is sent to the credit agency, they have 45 days to respond. When they respond within that 45 days, they're going to send the information both to myself, to our company, and to the mortgage person, because the mortgage person is going to make that determination as Diane or Fairway Mortgage. They're going to make that determination if the loan is ready or not, or they're going to let me know, generate another cycle. But so everything, we kind of work together here. And where the consumer's not in the dark, they're learning how the mortgage works from the Fairway Mortgage end, and they're learning how the credit restoration works from our end. But we just want to let people know sometimes it does take a little time. We may have to take you through 2 or 3 cycles as opposed to just one cycle. And we're using the Fair Credit Reporting Act to go after the credit reporting agencies for violation of due process. We know the information belongs to you. Everything on that credit report, it does belong to you. If it doesn't, then file a police report because you're a victim of identity theft. But nevertheless, use that Fair Credit Reporting Act to remove this information that does in fact belong to you off of your credit so you can get a second chance in life. Now, I'm not encouraging bad fiscal behavior. I'm just saying, listen, we run into obstacles in our lives, and sometimes we need the assistance in getting over that hump. So that's what these consumer laws are there for, not for us to abuse, but just for us to use in times of, devastation, especially in times like this where we don't have no control over this so-called coronavirus. People are going to be out of jobs and things of that nature, and it's going to, in return, it's going to affect their credit and financial stability. So we're here to start to reiterate these laws and help people to understand, look here, here's an alternative route, a legal route, that you can use to overcome some of these obstacles that's holding you back from securing a mortgage. So Diane's very familiar with the Fair Credit Reporting Act and how it works, and we have various meetings throughout, weeks or whatever, me explaining to them, and then them give me feedback on their strategies as well on what we can do to address these negative issues and get people prepared for the loans.
Yeah, exactly. So William Crowley, credit magician on the line. Also Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Local economy, support the local economy by supporting Fairway Independent Mortgage. And, of course, William Crowley. Now, Diane, the average renter in the United States has an average net worth of just over $5,000. The average homeowner has an average net worth of over $111,000. Makes a big difference.
Yep, that's the reason that we talk about building wealth through real estate, is all you're doing is building the landlord's wealth, not your own. So if you are able to, you with myself and William, and you see where you're at on your credit, and there's a lot of help out there now. Of course, when we have, you can purchase it. Well, VA is 0 down. FHA, you can have 3.5% down, and the credit score is lower under FHA. Then we have down payment assistance programs. Down payment assistance program require a higher credit score, and that's where William comes into play. So, sometimes, but it can come from a gift. It can come from your tax refund. It can come from a borrower, your 401k. My goodness, you might want to do that so that, let's see, with what's going on in 401k world, you may want to actually take that money and use it for a down payment on a house, because you actually will build equity in a house. And your average, you are building wealth, and most people that they're more stable because they don't have to worry about, is my rent going up next year, or is my rent going up next month? I mean, I have had people that have saved for many years, and they're finally they're able to buy, and they're used to saving, so they keep saving, but yet they're still paying as much as they were in rent. So they have the discipline in place to be able to do that. So there's a lot of programs out there that do not require 20% down payment. A lot of people think that is not the case. You can have a 3% down, 3.5% down, 0 down. Now, depending on the situation, I mean, where you're at too. If you're in a area that is a USDA approved area, that's a 0 down program as well, and we do that. That's backed by the government. Same with FHA, VA. They're all, well, pretty much all of them are backed by the government, but those are actually backed by the government. And so there's a lot of help out there. People just need to make the first step to find out where they're at in the credit world first, because that's going to determine what type of program you can get.
Right, yeah. Then once you get the program, then you look at getting the pre-approval in place. Now you've got your tools to go out and start looking at properties, because it is, again, a low inventory market here in Tampa Bay. So we're fighting that low inventory still. I had mentioned we've got in Pinellas County, we have a 36.7% absorption rate, 2.72 months supply of inventory. And quickly, I will flip over to Pinellas County. From Pinellas County over to Hillsborough, it's a similar story in Hillsborough and Pasco. Pasco has a 39.5% absorption rate, 2.53 months of inventory, a seller's market. And then Hillsborough County is going to be similar as well. Hillsborough is 39.8% absorption rate, 2.5 months. 2 months of supply, Diane.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing that there are not enough houses on the market. That's probably what I hear most of. That's why I tell people to get approved, get pre-approved. We have that 321 program that is It's a to be determined. You don't have a house yet. You get fully underwritten. We can do it on FHA, VA, conventional, and the down payment assistance and USDA. So we can do it on everything with the exception of jumbo loans. So, it's a good idea to get that done. We can actually lock your interest rate in, that it will float down to whatever the market is when you actually find a home. So it protects you, and with the interest rates, if they go up, it will protect you, and then it can only go down because it goes down to whatever current market is at the time. So it's a real good program. We take you totally through the whole program, and all you need to do is add a house. And you get all the hard stuff out of the way, and then you can get excited and you can actually buy the house, and you have a better opportunity because it's almost like a cash offer because it's guaranteed to that seller that you've already been through underwriting. There's no question that your loan is going to get approved. It's already approved.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Just kind of like just add water, right? Like some of
Yep.
Just add a house. Yep. You got your income. Everything's already ready to go.
Everything's done. Commitment's there. So, sellers love it because then they know. Because let's face it, sometimes if you're in that certain price range, $350 or below, you may have to look at several houses. And what you need to do is not get frustrated and make sure that you just keep going to the next house, because you will get a house.
That's right.
And that, I'm sure it's frustrating for your agents.
It's competitive too. You got to know what you're doing. Like Lindsay's working with several sets of buyers, and we just got another contract accepted. This one was a cash deal, but you've got to know how to position these offers as well. If you're just throwing random offers out there with not actually looking at the comparables, looking at what the sellers want, figuring out how to structure it, writing that compelling letter that should go along with your offer. There's a lot of strategies that we employ to help the buyers win that house. So when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about strategy with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, and William Crowley. We're going to talk about his credit package. We're going to offer out a free credit package here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So stay with us. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Our feel-good story of the day is a good one as well. Got a landlord that's not collecting rent to help his tenants that are being affected by the outbreak, and it's gotten more than 22,000 shares online. So stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. Ian Beckles.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with D'Angelo Star.
62 who knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week. 62 who knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember.
Ask to me about Florida.
Yes. To be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and made
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay. Welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left hand white, and then they catch the left hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back their right. Got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that image because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate business, buying, selling, or investing. Of course, we would love to talk to you. We're also hiring right now, looking for sales rep, inside sales, listing agents, buyer agents, personal assistants, and more. So reach out if you're looking for that type of an opportunity. 813-670-7372 is the number to dial. 813-670-7372. You can call or text that line as well. And this would be a great time to reach out to Steve and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. Give your immune system a boost with some of their vitamin injections. You've got the Science of Nutritional Balance, vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, the Myers cocktail directly injected right into your bloodstream through their professional service that they offer, vitamin infusion drips, anti-aging, health and wellness, performance, weight loss, amino acids, and extras, all available from Replenish IV Solutions. Make sure you let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. They got a Carrollwood office as well at Barris Del Mabry. South Tampa offices right there on Gandy Boulevard in South Tampa. All right, every day we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day. We got a good one for you here.
Tell me something good.
A landlord in Maine announced he will not be collecting rent from his tenants in April due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Nathan Nichols of South Portland wrote on Facebook that the tenants living in the 2 units he owned are service and hourly workers who may be out of work in the coming months. Quote, because I have a good fortune and I've been able to afford it and the privilege of being in the owner class, I just let them know I will not be collecting rent for April, Nicholas wrote. And, quote, I want to ask other landlords out there to take a serious look at your own situation and consider giving your tenants some relief as well. Nichols' post has more than 22,000 shares, hundreds of comments praising his decision. And in an update on Facebook, he revealed that it inspired at least one other landlord. There's a post here from Sarah Chittick saying, knowing how markets work, knowing how mortgages work, being a prepared landlord, having the funds, we will be following suit, sir. And cool story right there. So that's, the story of landlords not collecting rent for the month of April. So good stuff. We got Diane and Vance. That's awesome, right? Is that William?
Yeah, that's pretty good. But Diane, I guess the mortgage companies won't be doing that though, huh?
Well, not as of yet. Let's see if, you never know. There might be something that, again, if anybody has that situation, they need to call and ask what happens when I'm not making these payments. I want to make sure I don't have to make those up because a lot of people were surprised during the hurricane.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you just call William. He'll get your score back up.
There you go. You call William.
Now, don't abuse the system. Don't abuse the system.
Well, actually, they're not supposed to show it as late. It's not allowed to be put on there as a late payment. If for a disaster situation, they are not allowed to put it on as late. They may not forgive it or may not put it on the end, but they are not allowed to show it as a late payment.
Seems like an easy solution would be just to wrap them around to the end of the note, especially some of the big lenders that we bailed out as taxpayers.
Right.
We bailed them out in 2008, and then they post record profits in 2019. So it seems like there's going to be something there coming down the pipe.
There may be, absolutely, and so that's why I want people to be aware, so they ask.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Just be cautious. Be cautious. Be on point as far as that goes. So let's go. Let's do the William Crowley credit package here, and then I wanted to get back to Diane. So William, sum up this credit package, and I'll make the offer here.
Right. There's a lot of material that the Federal Trade Commission actually gives away free, but I have those readily available to get them to you a lot quicker because it takes about 6 weeks for them to get to you. So in the package, we're going to have the copy of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, even aspects of the Uniform Commercial Code, the CFPB, that's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And then there's going to be strategies on how to opt out, the promotional block, because I always say that the biggest perpetrator of identity theft is the credit reporting agencies themselves. So opt out, okay? You can do it, and that information will be in the packet to do that as well. Let me give the number right now, though, just so people can get ahead of the game. That number is 888-567-8688. 888-567-8688, or you can go to pre-screen opt-out. That's pre-screen opt-out on the internet. And you could, it's a totally free service, and it puts a promotional block on all 3 credit reports. You want to get off of that list because the credit reporting agencies have the right, because you've given them the permission, because you didn't opt out. They have the right to sell your information to anybody that they choose, and you never know who they're selling their information to. They don't use any discretion. As long as the dollar amount is right, the credit reporting agency is going to send that information out. So please go ahead, everybody with a Social Security number that participates in commerce should opt out, have a promotional block put on their credit report. So that'll be in the package, but go ahead and take advantage of that right now.
Yeah, reach out. We'll get you in touch with William Crowley. He's going to offer this credit package out to you. So text the word credit to 813-670-7372. Text credit to 813-670-7372, and we'll put you in touch with William Crowley. He's going to get that credit package over to you, teach you how to opt out of pre-screening, cut off the junk mail, opening yourself up to identity theft. So it's a good way to prevent that. So William Crowley, the credit magician right here in Tampa Bay. Now, I want to go back to Diane for final words as well. We got about 3.5 minutes left, Diane.
Okay, so people can, if they want to get started, it's very easy. Either, they could text you the rent versus own on your site, or what we could do is just go to my website, DianeVance.com. There's an apply now. It will actually pull up your credit report for you. I'll get a copy of it, but I'll take a look at it, of course. And if we need to get William involved, we get William involved. And, we try to work as a team so that we can actually, take care of the consumer and get you started. So not starting is probably the hardest thing. You just take action.
Yeah, that's right. Rent versus own, that's a great opportunity as well to reach out. So if you want to text, if you're a renter out there paying your landlord's mortgage and, you want to get into that home ownership, you want to get your net worth up as well. As we mentioned, the average renter has a net worth of just over $5,000. The average homeowner is over $111,000. So if you want to get into that space, what we'd like to do is have you text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to our hotline, 813-670-7372, for a free rent versus own analysis. We're going to break it down, show it to you on numbers here on a spreadsheet. It's going to show you what you're currently paying, what you're missing out on gaining in equity, the appreciation. So text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying, 813-670-7372 for a rent versus own analysis, or just a consultation with Diane if you want to sit down and talk to Diane. If you're looking to buy in any capacity, just reach out to the hotline, 813-670-7372. Call or text that line. Also, consumerqb.com. You can submit an email form right from the website. at consumerqb.com. All right, parting words from William Crowley, the credit magician. Got about a minute and a half here, William.
Right. Just take the time now. It's a lot of dead time, like I said. Take the time and look at these consumer laws. Let's get proactive, prepare for whatever situation or crisis is going to happen. There's going to be some problems out there, believe me. So go ahead and start using these laws. It's totally legal what we're doing. We just don't want people to abuse it. Really, there's no way to abuse it. I mean, when negative information comes on the credit report, there's legal ways to have this information removed from the credit report. And definitely start to prepare for stop being a renter and start buying, because it's not as difficult to buy a property as most people think. And if it's credit that's holding you up, we'll get you over that hump. And Diane at Fairway Mortgage, they'll get you into that home.
That's right. I like it. All right, good stuff. Well, I want to thank Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, for calling in and educating us on things happening and the current happening with the federal cut in the overnight lending rate and how that's impacting the market, as well as William Crowley, the credit magician, as well. Thanks again for helping us on the credit side and being that consumer advocate there with the Consumer Quarterback Show. So we appreciate you guys, and stay safe out there.
Well, thank you.
Great.
And we want all of our listeners and viewers of our TV show, maybe you're watching on Apple, Amazon, Roku, or WeBeam, to go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as, packing up some food or clothing, handing it to that person that you see in need, volunteering some time, great time to be volunteering, getting involved with helping people. And being a force for good in the community is what we always talk about. Be that force for good and stand up for what's right. And we'll see you next time on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Now, make sure you follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter. The Consumer Quarterback Show page out there on Facebook and LinkedIn. We got a TikTok account now, Pinterest. You can find us on all the social sites, and we would love to connect with you and have a wonderful time. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.